we're so filled with joy to be in this space tonight. We hope you feel that as you come into the room tonight. Another thing that brings us lots of joy is telling stories of God's faithfulness. So I would love to invite our friend Kirstin to come and tell hers tonight.
Okay, hi everyone. I grew up in a Christian home my whole life, kind of going to church, Sunday school, youth group, all of the things. I was super involved at church my whole life, so was my family. I knew I was saved and I was going to heaven, and I definitely knew I loved Jesus. What I didn't know, that faith was more than just a religious label. It was actually also a loving relationship with the Lord. And I always had this underlying desire to kind of want to know more, not just in life, but with Jesus, and I always wanted to kind of pursue greater. However, the summer before I started high school, I was in a pretty severe wakeboarding accident. It left me with a severe concussion, a fractured skull, a lot of stitches, and some time in the hospital. By the grace of God, I didn't lose any severe physical or cognitive abilities, but if you asked me at the time, I would have told you I actually lost everything. A big part of my identity at the time was sports, and I obviously couldn't do that for a while. I couldn't really be in any big social gatherings for a while, and I couldn't be in the sun or in the water. So that summer with my accident and then going into a new school in high school, which was much bigger, with a lot of people, with also none of my friends from middle school, was super isolating and lonely. And it actually led to an introduction in my life to anxiety and depression. So every day I would battle with thoughts that something bad was going to happen because the past had proven that something bad did happen. I would always kind of stress about what would be next, and I had no hope in kind of my future. I actually didn't even really want a future. I would go to sleep and wonder about what would happen if I just didn't wake up in the morning. I didn't even really want to wake up in the morning. That led to a bad route of self-harm and suicidal thoughts, which I battled with for the next probably 2 years of my life. I had lost complete control of my mind and my body, but if you asked anybody in my life at the time, nobody would really know what's going on. I was still going to church, still super involved, did all the things I was quote-unquote supposed to do. I didn't really know myself at the time, and I really didn't know the Lord. So to make kind of a long story of healing short, because it took more than just an overnight change for me, my parents did catch on to my problems and sent me into therapy and put me on medication. So in the process of healing, I kind of started to see God show up in new ways, starting with the people in my life. I met some really great people, great therapists, great, just amazing people in my life that started to show me the Lord just through their actions, and I started to value more of the time that I spent alone when that time used to kind of be anxiety-ridden. I spent that time with the Lord and got to know Him a little bit more, and through that time, He kind of started to reveal His character, and He showed up in all parts of my life over and over again from there. So going into college, I was obviously anxious. It kind of felt the same going into a big school. Didn't know anyone, and I was also coming off a fresh breakup in high school. So freshman year, before I even stepped foot on campus, I decided to dedicate myself to knowing the Lord and my identity in Him. So from there, I kind of spent a lot of alone time with the Lord, a lot of that lonely time knowing Him, and then they kind of introduced me to campus ministry, led me down that road. I started to meet even more people, got introduced to the Lord in so many different ways. And last fall, I got baptized and was able to surrender my anxiety and depression completely to Him and saw my life turn into a beautiful story of redemption. So if it wasn't for the grace of God that night and every night afterwards, I wouldn't be where I am today. And if it wasn't for His persistence to continually pursue me and push me to pursue Him, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you guys today. He's given me a new chance each morning to make His name known through my life, and that's why I worship.